Show. Away the Irish. Show. Away the Irish. Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. I'm telling you, I love this show and I love this group so much. There is just, first off, there's a lot of energy in the chat for a Monday morning in sleepy June. There's a lot in the chat that is juicy already. People woke up in the morning like, you know what? I got Notre Dame stuff I need to get out. It's beautiful. It's exactly what I always envisioned this show turning into. Just a melting pot of Notre Dame worries and ideas and everything else. This is beautiful. So I'm happy to be here. I'm thrilled to be here. We got a lot of these messages that have some juicy stuff to get into. But we got a lot to go over today. We'll see how much we get through. I didn't expect this much meat on the bone on a random Monday morning in the dog days of summer, but I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to have you here. Unbelievable. As always, you can find the program on the YouTube website. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. I don't know what you're doing. If you're here all the time and you haven't done that, what are you doing? Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. Notifications on. You and I both know why. That way you're alerted every time a new episode drops. I know you don't want to miss it. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Twitter, search bar, always Irish rat. Always Irish Inc. Call-in line? What's that? 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. I got my lines mixed up here. I'm looking at the call-in line. I don't know what's going on. Is there like huge Notre Dame news that broke today I'm unaware of? I feel like we got a lot going on today. It's beautiful to see Fighting Irish Wire every darn day. You type it in the Google machine, and then Notre Dame information comes out. You read all about it. Read all about it. Not old school, digital style. Read all about it, okay? So here's the first thing. Like I always say, this summer stuff, we're in the dog days. The phone lines are open. The chats are open. Wherever you want to go, we could go. That's what, like, this period between now and camp is kind of open season on everything. Just wherever you want to go, go. I want to be the spot for that. I really like when people call with it, but I'm telling you, I love the idea that people get up in the morning or they know I'm going to do a show and they have these Notre Dame thoughts. They don't know if they could be there for the live show or what, and they type it all in here to get it in the ecosystem with their worries, with their confidences, whatever it is. It's beautiful and I love it. So it's exactly what I wanted it to be. Open forum, dump your football thoughts in here and we'll go over them together. But again, the phone lines are open, whatever, even if I'm talking about something specific, like whatever, call in and get your thoughts out all summer. That's what that line is for. All right. And so whether it's conference realignment, what Notre Dame's going to look like, the TV deal, the apparel deal, recruiting, how you're feeling about that. And oh yeah, by the way, how about this? Worrying about actual football and the games. All right. And so that would be nice as well. Thank you, Pat, for putting the link in the chat. A reminder, anybody who wasn't there Saturday night or hasn't had a chance to look at the videos from Saturday night, reminder, Sunday, July 9th, Sam Hartman's first public Notre Dame NIL autograph signing. brought to you. Who's the sponsor? Brought to you by the Always Irish Show, myself, yours truly, Pat, everybody, all of you. It's brought to you by this show, this ecosystem. All of us are helping with this, okay? Because if it wasn't for all of you guys, nobody would be interested in me being a sponsor of the show. So we're all in that together, doing what we could do with this show to help the NIL. Visit foreveryoungsports.com for further ticket information. The day of the event, I'm going to be there. Pat might be there. Adam might be there. Craig might be there. The regular crew might be there. We're going to have like a tailgate set up in the parking lot there. And we're just going to have a good day. People waiting in line to get their autographs. We're going to be talking to them, have giveaways, raffles, bags, games, just talking about Notre Dame. It's going to be a Notre Dame Sunday, which is beautiful in the summer. Get our minds turning towards the regular season. So visit foreveryoungsports.com for further ticket information. All right, everybody. So we got a lot in the chat, and sometimes I go through it real quick. Depending on what it is, there's a lot of juicy stuff in the chat. So we got a couple callers. I don't want to get so far behind in the chat, I can't get caught up. I hope you guys understand that. When I start the show at 9, sometimes there's already 20 comments that are good in the chat. And if I don't address them when I start, they get buried with everything from when I start going live. And then I never get to them. And I don't want to do that, especially to people that put in the thought. A lot of times it's guys who are like, listen, I'm not going to be able to be there the whole time or whatever in the stream. I want to get my stuff out. I want to honor that. So I'm going to try and get through those and get caught up, give the callers a chance. We'll see where these chats lead. And then maybe or maybe not, I'll get through all what I wanted to yell about today. That could be pushed to Wednesday if we need it. There's always something to yell about. And I got a couple things. I just didn't want to do it on a Monday morning. Oh, all right. Let's see what we got. I'm telling you, the first thing first is the work the Twitter people have been doing with Saturday night's show is unbelievable. The dance segment where people said Pat looked either like Brian Kelly or Brian Kelly's son. And then that turned into everybody pinning everything Kelly's ever done on Pat, including the dance moves. It's beautiful. So if you're on Twitter, go to my account, look for some of that. All right, Andrew Gilmore, hot caller. Whenever he calls, he unloaded a bunch of thoughts first thing in the morning, and some of them are juicy. Let's get into it. Andrew Gilmore. For all the critiques of Al Washington, me included, the D-line class looks pretty decent. O'Leary is definitely aiming low at safety. This new target, Tay Johnson, seems to be the final piece. Here we go. 3 coaches who need to finish strong coming from Andrew. Parker, where's a big tight end recruit? And you know what? Here's what I'll say about that. I don't think Notre Dame people are not going to react the same way about, like, if you don't land a top tight end guy that they do other places. I think people, it's a compliment to Notre Dame, but I think people just figure it's Notre Dame tight end. And you look at that lineage of Rudolph and Eifert and all these guys and Cole and all this stuff and Mayer and all of it. And you believe it's going to be fine. Like, Notre Dame's at that spot where a lot of other schools are, like pumping out D linemen into the draft or something, is where we're at with tight end. I feel like that's why you don't hear the heat if Notre Dame doesn't have like the top tight end or whatever. People just figure it's going to be fine. It's Notre Dame tight end. That's what we're known for. It's going to work out. We're going to have guys there. That's kind of the feeling I got about that. 2, Rudolph. Here's the thing, man. I don't even want to think about this yet. But we are losing our right tackle, left tackle after the year. Yet this class is full of interior linemen. And it's been on my mind about what you're going to lose at the most important positions, keeping your quarterback alive. I call them the twin towers of terror out there on each tackles that we have. And what are you going to do after that? It's like, can I worry about one thing at a time here? Like it's just that's a worry that I have that I'm not ready to quite confront, I think. But a fair argument. And then Close Lambert, Gerby Lambert, I believe he was on campus, unless I'm mistaken, this weekend, I think. And then number 3, Freeman. Golden has given us 0 on the trail. Freeman must close. And I've seen that and read that a couple different places. I guess look at it this way. If that's the dynamic you're in and it's Al Golden, at least Freeman's a really good recruiter on his own merit, and he's a defensive guy. So I guess that's the responsibility of Freeman. In an ideal world, the defensive coordinator would be a dynamite recruiter too, and it would free Freeman up to be able to do other stuff and then put final touches on a recruit or whatever. But I trust Marcus Freeman's read on recruiting. Marcus Freeman ain't a dummy. He's one of the best recruiters in the country. He knows exactly. Freeman's the type of guy that knows exactly who on the staff he could trust to do things his way and with his efficiency and effectiveness, and who he doesn't. Freeman knows that. If he needs to pick up the slack on the defensive recruiting, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He'll have one of his 4 body doubles go ahead and do that, I guess, while he's doing everything else all over the country. He's doing it all the time. But I trust Freeman to be able to pick up the slack there. Not even pick up the slack, but know where he has to pick. Like, you can't pick up the slack unless you first understand exactly where it is. Freeman's such a good recruiter. He knows where everybody's at, and he's going to be able to do that. I don't love it. He shouldn't have to do that in an ideal world, but he's going to have to, I think. Scott in rushing, Andrew Gilmore says. Yeah, you would hope so. I'm bullish on this season. Getting Hartman was so big for ND, but our OCDC don't impress me. Golden's lazy on the trail, doesn't even run his own D. Parker failed at West Virginia and is running the Reese O. Well, that's a bright outlook. And the other thing is, to me, I've been saying it since the season ended. Both Als are on the clock. Both Als are getting looked at here. I need better efficiency out of that defense this year. I need it. Okay? And so both of those, I said it, my famous line, both Al Golden and Al Washington, I've been saying both of those Als need to get it together, or Al will be having a heart attack on the air all year. This cannot be a situation where the offense takes step forward and the defense takes some back. Not interested. That can't be what this is. Then you're spinning your wheels in a different way. We've been spinning our wheels. It'd just be for different reasons now. Where the offense puts you in the real world and the defense holds you back. I ain't here for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody does. So I need both the Als to deliver big time on the field and recruiting. Matt Miller, good morning, always Irish Nation. Congrats again on the announcements this weekend, John. Huge. I really appreciate it, Matt. It is time for me to get more involved in real life. Not what I do in my basement and all that. Obviously, none of those opportunities would exist without what I do in my basement every day. But I'm a Notre Dame people person. I have a desire to get out there and meet and greet and talk to people. And like, that's what I want to do. That's fun for me. This is a perfect opportunity to do it. And the fact that we're going to be able to help Notre Dame's NIL effort and our new quarterback, it means the world to me. It makes me feel like we're helping the team in a way. It's like Rudy. You go in there and you go, I just want to help the team any way I can. And if this is one way this show could do it, bringing attention to it, a autograph signing where our guys can make a few bucks. I know it's not like changing the world here, but if that's our little part, not just me, but all of us, then we're doing a good job. We're doing a good job. $10 howler from Andrew. ND could win big with Hartman. Additionally, good run game and athletic D. Nice portal ads. But how would you rank the OCDC? I think we actually have assets on the staff who are better. Mickens and Stuckey. Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that. I think everybody loves what those guys got going on, no doubt. So It's a big year, and there's something else coming with this in a message a little bit down. That's a really good point that I'm gonna go over connected to this. But Andrew, this is what I like. Andrew wakes up and unloads the clip, and he's like, I woke up and I got all this Notre Dame stuff on my mind, typed it all in, and then he said, I'm not going to be able to sit around today, but I wanted you to have all this. It's beautiful. Andy donated. Unbelievable, Andrew. That's a good start to the week, buddy. Unbelievable start to the week. Thank you. Always Irish Senior. It's good to have him here. He's physically here, upstairs, actually, watching the kid. I appreciate it, Dad. Thank you. Thank you very much. $5 holler. Look at this. Paul Conley, good morning. John the Great. I don't know about that, but I'll accept it. Thank you on a Monday. Brilliant initiative sponsoring the Hartman Day. Good work. I am impressed. Thank you. It's something I've been looking for ways to get more involved on a deeper level and get into promoting some of this stuff just to help the team, help our guys. That's what this is all about. And I'm very excited. Oh, look at this, Paul. This is fantastic. Pat's going to be excited too. Hey, John, I purchased my tickets to Central Michigan on StubHub. Can't wait to introduce myself at the tailgate. This is building. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a big turnout for that tailgate. And the blue and gold one, I had a blast at the blue and gold one, even in bad weather, and it wasn't even a real game, and the crowd wasn't as big as it's going to be. I loved it. This is going to be fantastic. We have such a good core group of people involved here that all love everything going on, that all want to be a part of it. It's amazing. And then that core is growing of people that want to be a part of all the stuff we do. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh boy, look at this. Nothing like callers, hold in there. I'm getting right to you. I promise. Here we go. We're building up. We're building up, Pat, here. We're going to encourage some more dancing, I think. Watched on Sunday, the Always Irish After Dark. Glad Pat was there. He adds to the quality of the show. Listen, man. It's, he says, what a good guy Pat is. I'm telling you, he's been my closest friend for like over 20 years now. And when we both love Notre Dame, we have all this history together, all the good times, some bad times, you name it. Everything from Notre Dame celebrations to friends' funerals. We've been through it all together. And so him and I have this 20-year history of knowing exactly the way each of us thinks about everything. And that's why when we're on the air together, it works, because there's nothing to figure out. It's just me and Pat doing what we do at a bar, drinking and yelling about Notre Dame. It's perfect. We may as well do it here. Oh, man. The one video, Pat, I don't even know if Pat noticed this. I was cutting up shorts to put out from the live stream. There's one moment where neither Pat or I are looking at the screen, but we both take our drink at the same time for the same amount of time, and we both put it down at the exact same time. And people were commenting, did you plan that? Neither one of us were looking at the screen. It's just, there's a lot of good overlap there. It's a comfortable arrangement. Let's put it that way. Oh, what else do we got? Crying Belly is here first thing in the morning. If Notre Dame has the same record as last year, there should be serious concerns from fans, recruits about coaching. If Hartman's what people say he is, we have the best quarterback on the field each game except for USC. Crying Belly, that's a very good point, Crying. Very, very good point. The number one thing is, with the big three that we're all circling, talking about all the time on this schedule, there is no room for a Marshall and a Stanford again. And not even one, let alone a Marshall and a Stanford. That has to be done. And I don't care if there's 80 injuries or not. You can't do it again. You can't do it again. You just can't. I understand fully, we all do, that what happened to Buckner threw off the whole plan for last year. It just ruined everything. It just ruined everything. It did. All right. But that's not an excuse to no-show against Stanford and Marshall. You should have won those games anyways. Even when I build in the additional hurdle of having a backup quarterback that's limited, the whole team no-showed. You can't just pin that on the quarterback injury. You can't have any more of those. 9-3, and the fans are going to be antsy. 8-4, it ain't going to be pretty. And we went over this Saturday night. No, Freeman's not going to be on the hot seat if he goes 9-3 or 8-4. But the fans are going to ask a lot of tough questions. Recruits are going to start going, okay, I don't know. There's a lot of that energy when Freeman got the job and he's young and exciting and something new at Notre Dame. Then you go 8-4. Now we have another struggle year. What are we doing here? Do I want that? Gets nervous. That gets nervous for the fans and for recruits. The administration, they're not going to blink at 9-3, 8-4 in year 2. Are you kidding me? They're not going to blink. That ain't going to be a thing as far as hot seat for real. The only hot seat is going to be fans talking about it because they're mad. It isn't from the administrative end. I want to be very, very clear about that. But you have a very, very good point about Hartman. Not if he's what people, not only what people say he is, but what his numbers say he is. If he is all of that stat sheet of all those passing yards and touchdowns and everything else, you have a very good point. Notre Dame should have the best quarterback in the field every game, except when you're playing the Heisman guy out at USC that's bought and paid for and painting his nails pretty and all of that. And you got to hope that carries the year, because you need to have a big year after what happened last year for sure. And I say this all the time. I'm going to say it again. Hartman does not have to be Heisman level to raise what this Notre Dame offense is capable of and becomes. That is a key point. He doesn't have to be near Heisman level numbers to make this all look way better, way more real life, way more modern, way more. I can pass it and run it, and you never know what you're going to get. You got to defend the whole field. You can't creep up and stop the run and guard the tight end, and that's it for Notre Dame's offense. Those days need to be over. Those years need to be over. This needs to be a whole new look. All right? 10-2 at least. Otherwise, we are screwed. I don't know if we're screwed, but 10-2 is like my baseline of still feeling kind of like okay. Anything less than that, you got problems. And especially, how are people going to react if you go 9-3 and you lose the big 3 games on your schedule? People are going to be mad. How are people going to react if you go 9-3 and you win 1 or 2 of the big 3 and you lose to some dumb teams? People aren't going to be happy. There's no way you can work this equation where people aren't going to be mad if something stupid happens. It's like, we want to win all the big 3 on the big stage to get national credibility. And I also don't want to drop any of those dumb games to teams we have more talent than. I don't want any of it to happen. Am I asking for too much? We want everything here. So I don't know. It's tough. Big year. T-Rex, by the way. T-Rex is the one who sent the entire call-in show Saturday spinning in a weird direction. When he asked some really tough questions and brought up some really, really deep stuff. And I'm cutting that up. I'll put it out as mini episodes so people could see it. T-Rex asked some good stuff Saturday night. Mentality shift is absolutely needed. No more of this, it's okay to lose and go 10-2 crap. We did that with Kelly. Time to take the next step. That's kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about is a mentality shift in the Notre Dame program and what has me wanting to see that. Let's see where all this goes with the call in the chat. See how much time I have. I wasn't expecting this much juicy meat to be in the chat early on a Monday morning. I'm very pleasantly surprised by you guys. A lot of good input here. You don't get Sam Hartman in the portal to calibrate. You get him to win a lot of games for you because you think he can take you to the next level. If it was a calibration year, we would have rolled with Buckner. And crying, I get where you're going at. And it is addressing something I've said about this being a calibration year with the roster and trying to flip a lot of depth at certain areas and do a lot of that work. And I've been talking about it as a calibration year. I guess listen, there's a lot of guys on a football team. It isn't just the quarterback. So the fact that you feel like you have a guy you should be able to rely on to do what you need at a high enough clip to put you in a position to win all your games, that kind of gives you the comfort to be able to do some of that calibration and have maybe some unknowns and some questions out there you're working through, because you're confident what you're going to get out of that guy is going to be like the standard bearer for this year. And so I get what you're saying overall. If it was a true calibration, you would probably roll with Buckner. But again, Freeman tried that last year and got killed. He tried that last year and got burned, and he didn't want to risk it again. He couldn't risk. He didn't feel like he could risk that exposure again, that program exposure again. And I totally get it. But he thought he was going to still have Buckner around. That's the tough part of this. He thought we were still going to have Buckner around, and you're not. And so that's the way things go in the modern era. These guys don't have to stick around anymore. So I think it is a calibration with a lot of these spots on the roster, while understanding I think Hartman could be that stabilizing anchor that could kind of keep that engine running, and we go from there. Mikey pulls, my security guard. Good to see you. Good morning, John. Not sure if you'll get to this comment before the phone line, as Andrew asked 45 questions, albeit good questions. I told you, Andrew woke up in the morning and just unloaded all his Notre Dame dreams and thoughts. Put him in the chat first thing in the morning. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. What does the T-Rex have here? We don't want to settle for New Year's 6 while Michigan is playing LSU in the playoff. Cheers to making a run. Make a run, baby. Win your big games. Make a run. Make a run. Man, a lot of people are wide awake on a Monday in the summer here. Domer 88. Domer Guy 88. Irish Nation, let's paint the house to Rockville green on September 23rd. No more red takeovers. Go Irish. Speaking of the house that Rockney built, do you guys know the story of Newt Rockney's old home in South Bend? Friend of the show, personal friend of mine, Jack Sacco, Notre Dame engineering grad, Pulitzer Prize nominated author. He's doing movie stuff. He's writing books. He's writing directing orchestras. The guy does everything. And the latest thing he did is talk at the 78 Notre Dame classes reunion. And he was the keynote speaker that got invited to talk. Stayed in Newt Rockney's old house over the weekend and sent me pictures of the old Rockney stuff in there. It's unbelievable, the history in that building, in that old home in South Bend, that where Rock and Bonnie lived. It's unbelievable, the history. And I'm really proud of my friend Jack. Like, he is in that top circle of Notre Dame elite. When they need a keynote speaker for the reunion, they call my guy, and he writes it up and delivers a beautiful speech. That's my guy. So congratulations, Jack. Glad you had a great weekend over at Notre Dame. $5 holler from Adam Dowling. Hey, don't do this to me, dude. Come on, bro. First thing on a Monday morning, Adam. Hey, John, maybe if we joined the Big Ten, we could actually play a tough schedule like Michigan. I'm not letting you do this to me on a Monday morning. I refuse. I'm not letting you kill me like this on a Monday morning and get me all worked up. But there are multiple toughest schedule lists that have the word Michigan on them. And I genuinely don't understand. They don't play a team till November 11th against Penn State. It's an absolute joke. And I'm not letting Adam give me a stroke before 9:30 on a Monday morning. Can't do it. My brother, good to see you here, Andrew. He's probably preparing. We're going to be in Florida. I think, I don't know, in a week or something, we're going to be in Florida. I'll announce what I'm going to do for the show while I'm out. But I got to get that trip in now, meet the new nephew, little Johnny. I got to meet him, and we got to do all this in the summer, because once we get into August, there's no vacation for me. It's football time every day, 7 days a week once we get to August, all the way through the new year. So I got to get a little trip in where I can meet the new nephew. Excited to do it. Adam Dowling, let's worry about Navy. We can worry about Ohio State on September 17th. Adam, I totally understand what you're saying. I think the issue is these are the dog days of summer. People worry about everything all the time. And it isn't just now's the time to not just worry about Navy, but to look at all of it in a big picture, just because we're in that weird period of year where there ain't much happening. The only thing I want to happen is good recruiting news. I don't want to hear nothing outside of Notre Dame all summer, but good news. Good recruiting news. That's what I want. Angela, good to see you here. Yeah, she texts me this morning, Angela Rudiger, and says, the one show that I missed because I have stuff going on, and you and Pat are dancing on the show Saturday night. I can't believe it. It's like, and she's like, I remember those dance moves. They haven't changed since we were like 20 years old. You're right. Sharky, thanks for being here. Jay Lehman, good to see you here. You guys, exactly. Don't look past your next opponent. You guys got to understand the position I'm in. Nobody's going to sit here for the next 3 months and talk about Navy exclusively every day. Now, if it's Navy week and I'm taking calls of people asking about Ohio State, that's different. That's where I go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on. We got to make sure Navy doesn't tear us up like they almost did last year, where the clock is why we won the game. It wasn't what we were doing. The clock ran out, thank God. But it would be different if we're getting closer to Navy and all people want to talk about is Ohio State or whatever. This part of the summer, people are looking at that big picture. They're zooming out and looking at all of it. And I get that. I get that. Deb Thomas, good to see you there from Otter Creek, Florida. Sounds warm and nice and beachy. I like it. Jay Lehman, good to see you. Good to see you as always. Yeah, Navy almost beat us last year. Again, the best thing that happened was the clock ran out. It was very anxiety inducing. It was not very relaxing. Alex Toby, good morning, Johnny. Sounds like we made some progress with key recruits at the invasion. I hope so. I hope that invasion leads to a full-time invasion of coming to Notre Dame. I did see a bunch of crystal balls for Notre Dame on guys, and some of them are guys at the level that people aren't going to complain about as far as their star rankings, so that'd be good. Coffee is for closers. Good morning, Monsignor. I appreciate that. Good morning to you, too. $2 holler from Willie B. Hart again. I can't answer that. I got Adam. I see Adam's calling me on my private cell phone instead of the call-in line. That's hilarious, Adam. He's calling me. If you heard that beep, that's what it was. Willie B. Hart again. I can't answer that for you, but you're angry about something. I don't know what it is. Do you want to share on what it might be? He's angry. I don't know why. He's just angry. This is the spot for that. If ever there were a Notre Dame show for people who wanted to be angry, this is it. 312-988-15. Call and lay into me, but don't make it obscene. I might lose my monetization if there's too many F-bombs. Oh, that's a real thing, by the way. If the YouTube system senses too many F-bombs, you're not going to be able to monetize that video because they're going to say our sponsors don't want to be linked to somebody who's doing that. And that's not what their brand wants to anyways. So that's why I tell people to try and keep it clean. And that's why I've cleaned a lot of it up over the last 7 years as well. Same reason. Oh boy. Pat says he has all new dance moves. If people want to see them, they have to super chat Always Irish for them. Look at that. Pat, you always got what you wanted. Selling your body for money. There you go, buddy. You finally made it to that level where you can kind of sell out for that. And if people do that, Pat, I gotta give you a cut of the YouTube cash register here after they take their cut. We got a $5 holler from Phil, one of the nicest families I met at the Blue and Gold tailgate, and I really hope they can make it to Central Michigan. You guys got to be there. You're in the inner circle now. Your wife coming at 9:30 in the morning, putting that bottle of Fireball on the table. You are our type of people, and you are welcome, my friend. Congrats on the big deal. Thank you very much. Might make the trip in July. Oh my God, look at this. Also, I've always thought Pat looks like BK, just never wanted to bring it up. Well, it's out there in the ether now. It's out there now. Everybody's ready for Notre Dame football. You're darn right. And we still got a couple of months here. We still got a couple months. Callers, I'm almost to the bottom. I'm getting to you in a minute. Also wanted to add that Reese's offense was predicated on the perfect play, but that has more to do with his play calling, the scan offense, than his playbook. Parker said he just wants guys to go play. I think that would be refreshing in a way. And if you have Hartman running things, I feel a lot better being like, just go out there and make plays, because Hartman knows the timing. He knows how much his progressions. He knows when there's heat, he needs to bail. Like, it's year 6 for this guy. He knows what to do, where to put the ball, how much juice it needs, when to throw it away. He's got a good internal clock of when he feels the heat's coming, all of that comes with a 6th-year guy. All of that is beautiful. Pat says, I know my role. Yes, dancing. Dancing is your role, Pat. What do we got? Mike, Scott's not coming to Notre Dame. He released his top 3, but if you're all in on ND, you don't need a top 3. He's just nice enough to say thanks, but no thanks. I did see that quote from him. He said, I got Notre Dame in the top 3, but I don't think Notre Dame people feel that great about it. So I don't know what to say. Yeah, the top 3 thing. I don't know. I got that twice, that message. Freeman factor 574. It's already been reported Parker's simplifying the offense. No more scan, and more shots down the field is what we'll see this year. Yeah, you have a quarterback who you trust to take shots down the field. You have receivers, I think, that can get open down the field and be athletic and go up and bully somebody and make a play, jump over them. Like, I just think you could see a lot of modernity from this offense that we're not used to. And when I say modern, I mean like passing the ball down the field. I mean like a defense not being able to just jack up on the line of scrimmage, stuff the run game, guard the tight end, and then you're off the field. Like, it's amazing, you guys. It genuinely is amazing to me how much Notre Dame has accomplished in the recent handful of years, being as limited on offense as they have been. Notre Dame has accomplished a lot for being that limited on offense all the time. It's genuinely impressive. Just imagine what they could do if a defense had to worry about everything. Are they going to run it? Are they going to pass it? We better play it straight. We better play it fair. Can't creep our safety up. Like, all of that. All of that. We don't know what it's like. I've been saying, Notre Dame fans have been living in a dream world where what we see isn't the reality of college football. The offense and the quarterback play we are used to here, it's not even real life. It's not close to playoff winning quarterbacking. We have not been close. That's going to be different this year. That's going to be different this year. Okay. Brandon Fry says, count me in. Brandon, I want you at the Central Michigan tailgate. And if you're local enough, and I think you are, maybe make that drive. Come see us at the autograph session. Whole group's going to be there. Going to be a great day. Sean Duffy, great job with the autograph session. Appreciate that. I would be worried about recruiting. I'm seeing a lot of Cristobal for low 4s and 3-star guys. If a guy's a 4-star guy, I don't think Notre Dame's at a position as a program where you can complain about how much of a 4-star a guy is. I think if it's 4-star guys, Notre Dame people should probably shut up and take it. Like, who do we think we are to demand more than that right now? But I share the anxiety of too many 3-star projects. We like what his body could turn into. Maybe in a couple years, the guy's body will allow him to see the field. You're getting awfully RKG-ish at that point. And I've been saying, I ain't here for RKGs. I need MVPs. That's my line. Like, I'm sorry. We did the RKG developmental route and we learned there is a limit to what you can accomplish doing it that way. And I need MVPs, not RKGs. Like, enough of them. You're going to need some of them, but I need MVPs at the top. And I don't know. But right now, what's that class sitting at? Number 3 on Rivals? I can't complain about number 3. It's a matter of staying there. I'm not mad about where we're at. Notre Dame number 3 recruited. You can't be mad at that. It's a matter of staying there. How do you stay at number 3 on signing day night and not 13 is the problem. Last summer, we were number 1 all summer. Where did that get us? You dropped like a rock, dropped off a boat in the Atlantic is what happened on signing day. All the way down. Johnny burned out his mouse scrolling down to find where Notre Dame's class was. Pissed me off. All right? More MVPs, less RKGs. Okay? Deb Thomas, we need some 5 stars. Well, according to 247, you got 2. You got 2, both on the offensive side of the ball for next year, right? I believe both Williams and Carr, depending on where you look. Jay Lehman, it'd be cool to return to Crown Point. I could visit my dad's plot at Calumet too. Wow. I mean, that would be, it's a nice little town, nice little area. I enjoyed it. We're scouting out some other locations to maybe have away game watch parties in Crown Point at like a really modern upscale brewery type place. We're looking into all sorts of things. We may end up coming up with some good, fun stuff to do in an area in between Chicago and South Bend, so I could get there easier than having to go all the way to South Bend. Maybe we could do some stuff for away games where we have live watch parties and I record something and we have like beer and food. We watch the games together. I do this show. We all interact. Like, it isn't just this Hartman signing. We got other things in the works. This could be good. Look at this. Not me types in, no thoughts here. Well, thanks for sharing. Not me. That's fine too. Thanks for letting us know you have no thoughts. I appreciate that. Uh-oh. Look at this. Black Outfit TV. Welcome to the Big Ten. I don't know about that. The AAU membership, a lot of people are telling me that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. He said, Travis Shuttlesworth says, if Notre Dame joins the Big Ten, who do you want as your 3 permanent rivals? Isn't it the easiest thing to say? Michigan, Ohio State, USC? Like, if you really had to pick the biggest 3 you would want to play all the time in the Big Ten, USC's number 1 right away. Remember, they're joining they're number 1. And then the other 2 historical power, big boy, whatever, is Michigan, Ohio State. Now, I value some of those other rivalries too. I really value like some of the old Michigan State Notre Dame battles. I value. I like playing Purdue as an in-state type feel. Penn State, Notre Dame and Penn State have an amazing history. How about Notre Dame and Iowa? I would love to see Notre Dame and Iowa. We just don't get it. So, like, I don't know, but there would be a lot of intriguing games if Notre Dame is in the Big Ten. Yeah, Pat says USC, Purdue, Michigan. Like I said, I like that Purdue for the in-state feel, and there's history there. USC has to be number 1, and then Michigan just for the hatred. To kick that hatred up year after year after year would be pretty great. Pretty great. Pat's pushing back on Andrew a little bit, just like they do on the phone lines. I'm getting to the bottom of the chat here, callers. I'm sorry. Andrew makes too much of the reso. He is actually running the BK offense, if we're being honest. Second, it's Marcus Freeman offense because he made the decision he wants to keep running this. Yeah, and again, with that, you know, I don't know how much of that is the situation we were in with the offensive coordinator hire and the way that went and all that and what direction that went. You know, maybe it wasn't Freeman's first choice, but then that's kind of what he had to settle on to kind of calm everything down. I don't know where all that stands. $2 holler from Phil. Great show Saturday. Had plans, but seen the replay. I appreciate that. I like how people watch it even if they're not available live. It's perfect. Jeremy Welling, I'm thinking Golden may be a fill-in until Marcus can take back over the defense after he has a couple years under his belt and is a bit more comfortable as the head coach. People have been asking from the beginning of the Al Golden thing 2 questions, not 3 questions. One is he better suited for the NFL and what he was doing, just a better suited for the NFL at this point in his career? That was number 1. Number 2 is, how close is he to retiring? Like, not going back to the NFL, but just retiring. And then number 3, if he's going to stick around here, is the defense going to be better this year? And how's he going to recruit? I don't know. But I say it. Those Als on the defense, those Als, I'm watching you. Those Als are on the list. Like, I saw some leaky defense from Notre Dame last year in surprising ways we're not used to. That has to end. That can't carry over into this year. What am I talking about? Leaky defense. Not doing a good enough job of getting off the field on third downs. Just a bad job of that. Not good enough. And too many of them at critical moments. Didn't like that. Too many big plays. Way too many big plays at weird times. We're not used to this Notre Dame defense giving up some chunk plays. Hate it. And then number 3, in the red zone. I've been complaining about it since the season ended, how Notre Dame was second to last in the nation in allowing touchdowns once a team gets in the red zone. That is absolutely atrocious in every way. Like, that cannot be real life with the talent Notre Dame has. Even if you said, John, the talent Notre Dame has is not playoff caliber talent, like whatever. Even if I agree with you, it isn't bottom 2 in the country in getting ran over in the red zone and rolling over and letting them score 7 every time. That's garbage. That's garbage. Some of that may be as simple as tweaking what you're running down there a little bit. Maybe tweaking the personnel a little bit. But that needs to be looked at. It's unacceptable with Notre Dame's talent level to be second to last in the country in that stat. Something went wrong. Al Golden's been around defense 30 years. Sit there and look at it and go, oh yeah, we can't do this anymore. We get killed on it every time. Figure it out, Al. Figure it out. Okay? Unbelievable. Adam, I may need to notify the Crown Point Police John's coming to town. Why are you trying to put the heat on me, Adam? I want to swing in there low key. Why are you putting the heat on me right away? Come on. Oh, man. All right. You know what? We're going to pause some of these chats because I don't want to make these people wait forever. And I'll get back to them, but I'm not going to scroll all the way down because I don't want to miss them. All right. Freeman Factor 574. I get that stars matter, but people forget Freeman's known for spotting talent in lower rankings. Look at Morrison, low 4-star to freshman, even 3-star he was for a long time. Even 3-star he was for a long time. Let's see the product on the field before judging. Here's what I'll say to that, Freeman Factor 574. If we have both, like, am I asking for too much if I want both? Meaning, give me a CJ Carr and a Williams on the offensive end, like high 4-star, borderline 5-star guys that can play, hopefully play early and contribute early. That's beautiful. I want some of that. And then I need it on defense too. Like, give me the Carr Williams that we have on offense in the 24 class. Give me those on defense too. And then if I feel like I have a couple of potential stars young on offense and a couple of stars young on defense, then I'm okay with you looking for a body type, looking for a guy that doesn't have a lot of national attention now, but you see something in him you love. I'm open to that, but I got to have some top end guys too. Like, that's where I want to be. But you have a very good point on Morrison. But I am going to say this, though. Overall, like, we could point to guys here and there that developed and were 3 stars and then went to the NFL. You're going to be able to find that if you look. However, guys are rated 4 and 5 star for a reason. And the reason is it's a higher likelihood more people that do this for a living think they're going to be the best players. And if you look at how that plays out, look at who's been getting the 4 and 5 star guys. Look at who's been winning championships. It's not a coincidence that there's a high correlation between the teams that are getting 4 and 5 star talent and the teams that are winning lately. All right? Not just getting to the playoff. We've done that multiple times. Michigan's done that multiple times. And what's happened? Embarrassment has happened. Like, a lot of embarrassment. More than one time for both Notre Dame and Michigan. Pure Michigan, pure embarrassment. Pure South Bend, pure embarrassment in the playoff. I'm talking about winning when you're in it. Winning a playoff game or 2. The teams that are getting the most talent have the most margin and leeway, and they end up rising. So it's a fair point to give Freeman leeway on that, spotting lower level guys and building them up. But I'm not losing sight of the overall big picture map of college football. The teams that are getting the most talent are winning championships. And nobody can debate otherwise. Nobody can debate otherwise. Nobody's winning a championship anymore, and they're going, oh, yeah, good job team building, all the 3 stars that grew together, and then they won a championship. It ain't happening that way. It ain't happening that way, okay? Phil says, put on the visor next time you dance, Pat. Oh, my gosh, that's funny. Tex ND, good morning. Work really getting in the way from joining the show on time. Do they know I'm trying to listen to John Kennedy at Always Irish? Come on, execs. You know who I have a lot of love for? I have a lot of love for the group of people that work like office jobs all day and they find a way to stream this show in the morning. Like, I used to do it at my desk when I got out of college. I'd have a 670 The Score going and one earbud at work under my desk, listening to them talk about sports. I love that. Even I've had a few people tell me, John, I only got a couple minutes and I'm in this empty boardroom where there's, we're doing this meeting soon and I snuck in here to call you for a minute and they think I'm on a work call, but I got to get my thought in. I love you people. I love you people. We're obsessed with Notre Dame and it's never going away. Even in the middle of the summer, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, let's get to the calls. I made you wait. 818, what's going on?
Rockabye, baby. Hi, I'm Fred Schmerler. You're singing for a dealer. I know you've heard that one, right?
Yeah,
or are you too young?
Yeah, nope, I've heard that one. It's been a while. Hey, I want to thank you. Do you realize what you created Saturday night saying?
Yes.
This stuff.
Yes.
Look at where that led. You one drop of, Pat, I don't want to do it, but you kind of look like BK or his kid. And it was off to the races. The other thing is, you're not on Twitter, are you?
Man, I'm not really.
Buddy,
I heard you say that.
Buddy, that is making the rounds on Twitter. People cut up a hip. Hop. They got a hip hop beat, and it's me and Pat, and then they put Kelly in there with the recruit, and we're all dancing. That is making the rounds on Twitter. And it has a flashing Always Irish After Dark logo. Somebody made it, and it's great. And it's literally me dancing, Kelly dancing with the recruit, Pat dancing to hip hop. It's beautiful, man. Look what you did. Look what you did.
I'm on Twitter, but sporadic. I just kind of got off that a few years ago when it's so toxic.
That's for sure. It really is toxic. But if you can log back in, just go to my account and I have it linked. You'll see it's a riot. So thanks for that.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna check it out because I heard you talking about that. Yeah, man. I'm not gonna keep gloating, but all those people that were like, oh, I was thinking that too. F you guys. I said it. I said it. And I said it on the John, the Always Irish, Don Kennedy show. By the way, I got a show for Pat, and it's called Always Kelly.
Oh my God, that's so bad. That's so bad. But man, it was, people just had a field day with that. And then today, listen, man, I don't know what's going on today, but people are worked up. Usually Mondays in the off season are a little sleepy. I think we're getting to the part of the dog days of summer where everybody has like this anxiety and you don't see the light at the end of the football tunnel yet. And people just want to talk about it all. What's on your mind?
Well, it's funny you said that. It's exactly what I was thinking, man, is that I think it's actually something else along. I mean, I think that's definitely part of it. But, John, the show's building, man. Show's building, and it's becoming fun. We didn't even talk football in that. I mean, not real football. Yeah. Even my stupid, like, hey, I can tell you how the LSU Michigan national title wouldn't go so bad. Then I thought about that afterwards, like, all right, that was stupid. But nevertheless, we didn't even talk football that time, man. So, the show's getting fun. I mean, it has been fun. It has been fun for a long time. But, man, I had to say, I'm like, I know this is golden. I know this is gold. I was like, I'm going to take a risk here because I didn't know if I would offend them, because I don't want to.
You know what, though? Hey, it takes a lot to offend Pat. Like, you really have to offend Pat. Something like that will never offend Pat because he'll laugh at it with you. You really got to offend Pat.
No, that's what I'm saying, John. He could not have taken it better. I mean, oh, my God, that's how you take a joke. That's how you get rid. That's how you get roasted.
Yeah.
All love for Pat, man. That's the way you do it. Now, having said that, he needs to run with that, man, because that could be – he can make a lot of money off. I'm not even kidding. Like,
no, you know what he should do? You know what he should do? He should dress as Kelly for Halloween. He should literally do it. Get an LSU hat, and he can go around and he can dance at the bar. He can be at the bar.
John, have you ever seen Amadeus? The movie Amadeus?
Yeah, but it's been a while.
Okay. But the whole point, there was a rivalry between Salieri and Mozart. And at the end of the movie, Salieri is feeling very mediocre and feeling like, he's in this wheelchair and he's like, absolve me, I absolve you, I absolve you. I can just see Pat wearing the Kelly purple coming around to people saying, I absolve you. All this shit. He takes all the shit that all the fans want to throw Kelly and they can all throw Pat's way.
It's beautiful, man. Get it all out. So that was a riot. And then everybody was like, even if I didn't see it before, now it's all I could see in that guy's face. So that's beautiful.
God, that is gold. That is gold.
It really is gold.
Okay, so,
what do you got?
Man, one thing I was thinking, football related thing, we were talking about, this first round thing kind of got me, as it got you a little angry, but it got me angry at more than just, okay, Notre Dame's got to do better. We need more top-end talent. That's something I think we can agree on, that the Kelly regime did a really good job of getting a lot of players to the NFL, but kind of like the high end was always the middle second round to down to the, final round. They got a lot of guys in the NFL. I mean, they're among the top teams, I want to say, for that.
Yeah.
But also, John, it's kind of the same thing with recruiting, with these recruiting services. I think, and I'm even going to give people, some of the higher ups and scouts, a little bit of a break here. I don't think it's so much that there's this horrible anger against Notre Dame as much as we're so relevant in people's minds that when things don't go great, they seem like they're a lot worse than what they really are.
Yeah.
And to some degree, maybe when we do really well, maybe sometimes it can seem better.
Now, let me ask you. Let me stop you and ask you this, because I struggle with this. Because this is so much of my day-to-day world of writing about Notre Dame, doing a live show or recording a video to put out, whatever, Twitter. Sometimes it's hard for me to know and gauge whether some of this is getting blown up more than it should, good or bad. And do you get what I mean? When you're in that all the time, sometimes I don't know whether I'm just so immersed in it with never an escape. If it's just me that I see more than most people, I hear more than most people, I interact more than most people with all this stuff. And I don't know whether it's just my exposure makes it feel overdone or if it literally is overdone. And then also, secondarily, Notre Dame is just that way. Because of Notre Dame and because we're different and we're independent, we have the unique history and all that. Everything we've always done in my life has been magnified, good or bad, nationally. Not just internally, but nationally. It gets more run, good or bad, because of who we are. Some of that's natural to who we are. But some of it I do wonder is I'm in this every day. Maybe my head's so wrapped around Notre Dame, I'm making it a bigger deal. But you think it really is made a bigger deal?
I think it's a little bit of both, and let me restate that. It's a lot of both, man, because sometimes the things that you ran about, I'm like, okay, maybe he's putting a little too much on this. I don't think it's quite as bad as that.
Yeah.
Then there's other things that I think need to be spoken very loudly even more. Namely, and I want to get back to my point in a minute here.
Yeah, but I want to know. I'm very interested. Give me what you think needs to be magnified more. That's a great question because, do it that way.
John, this. Then, okay, I think it's starting to slowly happen. I think we're seeing with the Brady Quinn stuff and, it's Freeman's personality and all that. But, dude, the administration's got to get on board. Here's the thing. If Notre Dame fans want to say, okay, stop making excuses, we got to put the blame on that, that's fair.
Yeah.
Let's put it where I think it actually matters when it comes to recruiting, and that is on the Notre Dame administration standards for allowing guys in. And the NIL stuff, I think, is getting in that direction. I think Brady Quinn started to break down that wall. They couldn't have two better people, in my opinion. For this, and even Sam Hartman, we can throw Sam Hartman into that too, because he's part of this kind of maybe first year Notre Dame kind of breaks out a little bit with all this. So what you're doing on with the Sam Hartman stuff is very smart. Forget that it's good. It's also very smart. Sometimes I feel like what fans need to do, that saying, work smarter, not work harder.
Yeah.
We need to fan smarter, if that makes any sense. We need to fan smarter. Start redirecting some of this ire where it needs to be. I think there needs to be a lot of pressure put on the Notre Dame administration. I mean, I'm not just talking about from the inside. I mean from the outside. I want to know who these people are because they need to loosen up, and maybe they are. I want to be fair about that.
Let me tell you, I can answer this. I got a lot of information about this recently. And by the way, 618, you're coming up next. It'll be good to reconnect with you. It's been a little while. So 618, hold up. You're coming up next. The people that Freeman answers to, all right, he goes to Jack, and then who Jack needs to go get clearance to do hirings, to clear money, to make sure they can afford buyouts and agree on salaries and all that. It's about a dozen people in a boardroom, and they are all filthy rich. These are successful Notre Dame alums. A lot of them are minimum millionaire.
Some insulated.
Yes, minimal. But I'm telling you, I have asked for my own frustrations purposes to get a better understanding of what that group looks like. And I've really been asking the right people that I know, and I can't reveal everything I've been told about all of that. But I am told this group of people are millionaire and billionaires only, millionaire and billionaire families only. These high-end money people that came through Notre Dame, now they're on that board. And they live in a different world than we all live. They live in a different existence. They run in different circles. And it's different. They do not sit there and think, how can we make football more competitive every day? That is not their top priority. I could argue it isn't even in the top 5. And that is the battle you have to fight. Even Jack can't get everything done, even if he wanted to, without going to them and getting them to approve everything. They are much more concerned about the AAU stuff and Notre Dame's academic standing than anything worried about football whatsoever. That is the reality of what we're dealing with. I don't know how that changes.
Yeah, I don't either, but I'm telling you, man, when people call in and they're, hey, man, Freeman, stand up and be counted. Why didn't we get this recruit? Freeman, now, again, not to make excuses, man, but let's be fair. Freeman can only recruit as high as the top level of the administration is going to go with that. He can't go above that. That's impossible because they'll just cut it off. They'll be like, no, he's not allowed. I mean, let's go back to the Randy Moss situation under Lou Holtz, That would have changed everything for Notre Dame football. Now, he probably wouldn't have stayed there.
Yep.
Because, he got in trouble for State. But I'm just saying, he would have been
and the other thing is, this is the type of stuff that came into play with Ludwig and all of that. Like, this is kind of where I'm going with this. There's people even above Jack that have to sign off on doing all this stuff, and they're not football people. They're not athletic people. They're big money people, big business people. The football thing is not their top priority. It's just not, and it's upsetting to everybody like me. But I'm just telling you, it's real, man. It's just the way it is.
It's like, John, it's like the McCaskies all over again.
Oh, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
I know, right? I know.
Don't.
I get it. Hey,
now, wait.
My,
Let me finish with this. Let me give you this part, though. Brady Quinn is trying all he can to expand this network and provide better and bigger NIL opportunities. And Brady Quinn is trusted by those at Notre Dame with power. That is really a big thing in our favor. Additionally, Mark, I've checked on this last week. Marcus Freeman is supremely tied to reality in every way. He knows the battles Notre Dame are up against to land this talent and pay for play and NIL, where we're at, all of that. Freeman knows that all. It is a priority of Freeman. He is using his exceptional communication and delivery skills to navigate this within Notre Dame as much as he can, pushing it, but being respectful and trying to move it along. Freeman has very, very specific goals for where this will end up in a couple years, like monetarily and what he wants to be able to get our guys. Just know, I'm not saying he could get it all done, but know that Marcus is no dummy. He gets it, and he is trying to move this all forward. That gives me comfort. He is working towards it, and that at least makes me feel good.
Makes me feel good too. I realize that that's what you need, but that's kind of scary too, though, man, to think about. We need the literal top end of college football communication skills and personality to even get, crumbs from from what matriculates from the top end.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I hope they are breaking down these barriers. And I think it is starting to happen. I do think that they're moving in that direction. That's just how it feels to me. And that's a good thing. So we'll see. But I'm just saying, when people call in, they get mad that some recruit didn't pick us, they picked this school, that we all know kind of why. You can't, you can't just blame someone blindly. You got to know where it's all coming from. And I didn't think Freeman was doing stuff. But John, that's on the same point, going back to the whole us dropping in all those rankings that day on signing day. Do we really think that class was like number 10, 11, 12, whatever it turned out to be? Do we really think that? Or do we think it was probably more like 7, maybe 6, even with all those? I think that's kind of where it feels like to me in reality.
Yeah.
Well, now let's talk about the first round. Are you telling me that Michael Mayer is not a first rounder?
I knew this was going to come up. I knew this was going to come up. And when I did my...
Do you really believe that? Do you really believe that?
But it doesn't...
Do you believe that Kyle Hamilton wasn't a first round pick?
But here's my response to that.
Oh my God, I can't believe I got to say that kid that went in the 5th round, the running back a couple years ago.
Here's
the running back.
Who? Kyron?
The great running
back.
Kyron? Yeah, Kyron, yeah, Kyron Williams.
Here's the answer.
Because I'm like, he wasn't even second or third? Come on.
I've had people bring this up, and here's my answer to that. Even if I knew people were going to say our guys got screwed, they were first round pick. Fine. Even if I add them into our total, then we're only 15 behind Alabama and Georgia and Ohio State. And like if you want to do that, then my answer would be, let's throw 2 or 3 more guys in Notre Dame's favor that should have been first round. Now we have 5 and Alabama is 18. You're still dead. You're like, even when I agree with you, we're dead. Even when I agree with you, we're dead.
At least we're ahead of backup college, though. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous.
I just,
no, I see. Your point is still I mean, we have to do better.
Yeah, you need, those are playmakers. Those are playmakers. Those are what makes winning plays in the, think about it, man. Who makes winning plays in the playoff? Those top end guys that want to be drafted the next April when it comes around. Those are the guys making those catches, scoring the points in the playoff game, getting 4 sacks in a playoff game and destroying an offense. Like, you need those high-end guys, all right? You just need more of them. We need some.
You do.
Give it to me.
You do, but it's kind of like the Jamarcus Russell thing at LSU. As when here he is, no one was talking about him as like a top 10 pick before that Notre Dame Sugar Bowl
Jamarcus
game, right?
Russell, that's hilarious. That's amazing. Yeah. Oh, my God.
And the funny thing is, our defense was notoriously bad all year, and then they make some big deal about him throwing 3 bomb touchdowns. It's like, Of course he did. That was the Notre Dame defense that was playing awful all year. And of course I knew he wasn't going to turn out to be. I didn't know he was going to be the bust that he was. I'm not going to lie about that. But I knew he was going to be some top end quarterback. I'm like, come on, man.
Hey, leave that to Notre Dame. Leave that to Notre Dame to ruin his, what his whole outlook was and everything. He looked great against Notre Dame. Everybody expected the world, and then you realize it wasn't it. He also got out of shape. He wasn't in shape at all. It was really bad. Like, that was a bad contract. Really rough.
Well, yeah. Obviously, it could have been better than what he was. But
yeah.
Anyway, man, it's just great to see the things that Brady Quinn's doing, trying to get done. It's great to know that we got a coach like Freeman that's going to push real hard. I think he also understands that. Okay, I'm known for this. People know me as a recruiting guy. I bet deep down in his soul, he wants to now prove that he's a great coach. And I really think that's where he's putting a lot of it. Not that he wouldn't do that anyway. Let's not kid ourselves. But I bet you in his mind, in the back of his mind, I think it probably he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulders. Like, everybody thinks I'm this good recruiter, but I can't coach. Oh, really? Well, let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that there's a lot that he feels like he has to prove this year. And I like that too. I can feel that. I can feel that from him. But there's a little bit of that chip on his shoulder about his just coaching acumen, which, by the way, I think he's got all the great attributes of someone who's going to be a great coach one day.
Yeah.
But I think that that's something he wants to prove to everybody this year.
Yeah. And it really is. That's a very good point about, I wonder how he's reallocating his time. Like, the difference between year 1 and year 2 of all the things he felt like he should give his time to and whatever. And all those responsibilities. I do wonder if he's calibrated that. And he's like, now that I'm a year into this, I realize I need to give more time to this part of the team or help, spread that out. Maybe he'll be more efficient. Maybe he'll be more efficient with his coaching second year. Maybe that's a calibration.
I think you're right. And I also think when it comes to going back to recruiting real quick on this, I think this is where it's going to be recalibrated for Freeman. The problem I thought Kelly made was he had to readjust too. After he lost Aaron Lynch, and I think there was another guy or two that he put all this effort into recruiting these top end guys, and then a couple of them didn't pan out. The problem is he recalibrated too low. He regressed too low. He wasn't going after any of the top signal callers, any of the top quarterbacks. He was going after good players. But
RKGs, baby.
What Freeman, I think, is going to do is I think you're going to see a lot of guys that are high 4-stars, but just missed out on the 5-star status, right? And maybe some lower 5-star guys that might be like, the 3rd or 4th best receiver in the class and have something to prove when they come to Notre Dame. So they're high enough talent where they can get there, but they also have something to prove. I think that's the player that Freeman's going to go after. I think he realizes the top guys are going to be hard right now.
Yeah.
At least now. And so, again, Brady Quinn and Schwarbrick and whatever can maybe push down that ceiling, bring that ceiling up a little more. But until then, I think you're going to see Freeman going after a lot of these, high 4-star, low 5-star guys that still have that same amount of talent, that still have a little bit more to prove. And I think we're kind of seeing that happening in real time.
Yeah. Yep. And the other thing that none of us really know yet is the developmental arc on these early recruiting classes. Like, that's a wait and see thing too, is however good the guy is, however many stars he has, what kind of development are we going to get? How quick can they be relied upon as key cogs to the offense or defense or whatever? And there's just a lot of unknowns yet. And some of it we're not going to know for a couple years yet as this first big Freeman thing cycles through. There's a lot of questions, a lot of unknowns. Losing 4 games last year didn't help anything as far as the vibes or whatever. And people just have some anxiety about it. Like it's just the way we exist, man.
That's Notre Dame football in a nutshell. But
it is.
I still think the arrow's pointing up. The arrow's pointing up. It's just how fast can we get there? I think that's the biggest question.
Yeah, but hey, man, thanks for calling in and what you stirred up Saturday, and then really good call this morning, man. Glad to have you back. I knew you were traveling or out of the mix because I didn't see you in a while.
Yeah, I was just, I took a little bit of a break too a few weeks ago where I just wanted to take a couple weeks. I just like there's a lot I had on my mind. I didn't want to just call in for no reason at all, So,
yeah, nope. I appreciate
anyway, man, good to hear your voice. I'm glad Saturday night was so much fun.
I appreciate your thoughtfulness here. Thanks a lot, man. Have a good week.
You too, bud.
See you. Bye. Oh man, he really thinks his Notre Dame stuff out, boy. It's impressive. I'm telling you. Paul Conley, 618. You're up next. Hey, John, the Irish Invasion this weekend looked real good. I saw some studs on the videos of the workout. I hope I'm not getting too optimistic, but I'm optimistic. I mean, we got those crystal balls for Notre Dame or whatever I'm seeing. So, but again, I told you guys, even last year was it. Last year was it. I was so angry about what happened at the top end of that class. Even now when people verbally commit to Notre Dame. Nope. No, I'm not counting that as a guy that's playing in Notre Dame. You can't. You learned you can't. You learned that you're setting yourself up to be miserable when a guy commits to Notre Dame and you sit there and fantasize about him making all these plays. Talk to me when it's on the paper. Talk to me when it's on the paper. Last year sucked in that regard. And it was just an extra twist of the knife because I didn't feel like it was Marcus's fault. I didn't feel like there was anything else Marcus could do. He identified really good talent that had good grades and kids that could get into Notre Dame, recruited them well, had them all either verbally committed or allegedly silently committed in certain instances. And it didn't work out. And I was sitting there kind of at a loss for words. When Kelly didn't land guys at Notre Dame, I knew it was probably partly because he didn't even try to. He didn't put us in the mix to even be in a realistic position to get a guy or not. I knew that was an issue with Kelly. Everybody knew that effort was an issue with Kelly. It ain't with Freeman. So it really hurts when I feel like this is about as good as Notre Dame can get as far as having a recruiter as head coach. If he can't do it, how are we ever going to land a top guy again then? If this guy that I think is the best recruiter Notre Dame's had in a very, very long time can't do it, who the hell else can? That's a very scary question to ask. Very scary question to ask. Freeman is a better recruiter than the last everybody since Lou combined, and Freeman, the one guy, recruits better than all those guys. And if he can't get those guys, who's going to? And what does that mean? That's where I think the Brady Quinn thing comes in, and Freeman knowing we got to be more in that mix at a higher level and all that comes in. And that's where some of that work's going on right now. TD4ND. I like that name. Notre Dame campus was packed with recruits in the alumni reunion this weekend. Hope we pick up some top commits. Yeah, that reunion was popping. And my personal friend of the show, Jack Sacco, the keynote speaker at that reunion. And I'm very proud of him. I'm sure he did a great job. Look at this. Nick Dean, does anyone else hope Buckner starts at Bama? I 100% hope he starts at Bama for a couple different reasons. Number one is He's a good kid. Buckner's a great kid. He's a respectful, like smart, well-spoken, like really humble. He's a good kid. He's a good kid. So I want him to get a chance. That's the reason he left Notre Dame, is because he wasn't getting a chance to be the starter here. So I want him to have that opportunity. So yeah, I want him to start for that reason. And then here's number two. And I mean this genuinely. I don't know how it's going to come off. I want to see this happen because whether it goes good or bad, it doesn't matter to me at all. And I'm just very interested to see what it's going to look like. And if it goes bad, it doesn't bother me at all. It's going to be interesting to me. And it's going to be fun to see all those Alabama people mad at the Notre Dame guys. Because it isn't just going to be a knock on Buckner. It's going to be a knock on Tommy too. That's the other thing. So I want this to happen because it is the extension of Reese. You were already going to want to see what Reese was going to do with Alabama talent and with Nick Saban yelling at him. You add Buckner in as the quarterback. Now I'm double interested. And if it tanks and goes bad, little Johnny's going to have a little smile on his face. It isn't going to bother me. So I 100% want to see it just out of pure curiosity and freedom. Because if it goes bad, it doesn't hurt me anymore. So why wouldn't I want to see it? I want to see what happens. I really do. 618, good morning.
Yeah. How you doing, John?
I'm doing very well, man. We got a lot of people with a lot of energy today, man. People are excited about the season already. What's on your mind, man? You've been hearing it all, seeing it all. What's up?
Yeah, man. I was listening on your Twitter, man, and I was saying that like people was like about the Notre Dame schedule being soft, but man, it ain't no. It's better than Alabama schedule, probably better than Georgia schedule,
bro. Dude, I gotta tell you, man. I genuinely couldn't believe there were that many people saying Notre Dame plays nobody this year. Look at this joke schedule. I'm like, they got three teams that are in the top one or two to be conference winners in three different conferences. You're playing the Heisman winner. Like, I don't know what else they want. They just hate us, and they're going to rail on us no matter what. It's just pure hatred, man. The facts don't matter. It's just pure hate.
Yeah. And, and then I see people talking about they going to go 7-5 on their record. I'm like, man, dude, they ain't going 7-5. They're going to, I'm going to give 11-0, me 11-1, 10-2 at the, what I'm saying, at the bottom half, 12-0 at the top. But they ain't losing no more than 2 games on that schedule.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. That looks about right to me at that level you're talking about. I thought that if you aided Notre Dame and you saw that tweet, what their record's going to be, the correct response isn't the immature one of they don't play anybody when obviously we do. And every publication that's put out a toughest schedules for 23 has us in the top 20. So it's not true. But the right response would have been, man, they got some tough games. I hope they lose them all. It shouldn't be to downplay the games. It should be to acknowledge Notre Dame plays some tough teams and I don't like them. I hope they get beat. So I don't know, man. But people, they just will not give us any credit for anything. It's a legitimately tough schedule, and they're saying it's a cupcake.
No, it's not. It's nowhere near a cupcake schedule, man. They could be playing. They can be playing. Man, they can be playing all subdivision teams, but they're not. Man, they picked out. Man, when you got Clemson on the schedule, USC on the schedule early in the season, within two to 3 weeks of each other, you got Ohio State and USC. Man, it gets no tougher than that.
Yeah. Yep. It's just, and you know what else is a part of this too, man, is the conference thing. I think there's a large segment of people where they're fans of teams in these other Power Fives. And I think they just have in their mind made up that a Notre Dame independent schedule is going to be weak because they think that it means we pick 12 easy teams to play because we're not in a conference. So we get to pick the schedule They think we just pick and don't seek out tough games, but they're forgetting we just played a series with Georgia. We got Texas A&M coming up, Ohio State now, and then you got Alabama comes on the schedule in a couple years. These people aren't looking at all the facts. It's just they're letting their hatred dictate the day.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, the Notre Dame haters, man, on all levels, whether it's the recruiting, the kids that's be top 50 and then they agree, they commit to Notre Dame and then they drop all the way out of the rankings.
Yeah.
It's different things that you got, man, that like people really, really hate Notre Dame, man.
Yeah, they do.
And I call Notre Dame like the Yankees of college football.
Yep. And that's the other reason why they always fill up a stadium and always do good TV numbers, whether they're good or bad. Everybody wants to watch Notre Dame. It's not because they all love us. Half of us want to watch and be happy, and the other half want to tune in and see us lose. It's like the Lakers. It's like the Cowboys. It's like the Yankees. That's the kind of thing it is. And I love it, but it is time for us to fight back a little bit. We need to shut some people up, man. We do.
And newsflash, haters, college football is really good when Notre Dame is good. It's not great when Notre Dame is not that good, man. It's better. Like baseball is better when the Yankees are on top. Basketball is better when the Celtics or the Lakers is on top. Football is better when the Cowboys is on top. No college football team travels like Notre Dame.
Yep. It's true, man. And the numbers prove that out. And so I'm hopeful maybe this year could open some people's eyes. If Notre Dame could tighten up that defense a little bit and have this Hartman offense kind of humming with him in charge and distributing and picking up the pace and slowing down and doing all this stuff, making the right reads. Maybe this is a year that could get people's minds a little messed up where they go, oh, crap, maybe Notre Dame's got something going and I don't like it. And we need to see it. You can't be losing games like Marshall and Stanford this year. That all has to be over. We got to be on a different level this year.
Yeah, I think we are, and I think the offense is going to be a whole lot better this year than what it was last year.
Man, how could it not be?
How
could it not be? Like we would have the ability to stretch the field. Imagine what that does to a defense. That stresses a defense in a way we haven't been stressing them.
We got a top 2-3 offensive line, man. We got a top 5 running game, and man, if all the young receivers come together, And Mary, even with Tobias, man, Tobias is still just a true sophomore. So we still he's still young. These young receivers come together, man, it's gonna be a special season, man.
I hope you're right, my friend. Any thoughts on the latest recruiting buzz? We're sitting at number 3, crystal balls for some good guys, good visitors on campus. What do you feel about that? You comfortable with where we're at, or do you worry that we're starting to get into RKG Kelly land? What are we doing here? Where are you at on that?
No, I'm comfortable where we at because I seen the other day, man, what Justin Scott said, and he said that, man, Notre Dame, Georgia, and Miami is the top 3.
Yeah, I saw that
with
too.
Notre Dame being number 1.
I know. A lot of people are questioning that, man. A lot of people are questioning that. Even on Twitter, when that got posted, I saw people being like, oh, he's just saying that to be nice to Notre Dame, but we're already out of the mix and everything. So I don't know whether we are or not, dude. I don't know.
This is the issue. I think Notre Dame is the number 1 school, but once they get a few more kids that they want, they need to make Justin Scott priorities to keep him from committing before they can get him into the Ohio State game. You cannot let him commit before then because you didn't get the June visit, which you should have got. You didn't get that visit, so you need to get him. You need to get him at Ohio State, and you need to get him at the USC game. He needs to be at both games. He needs to be committed to Notre Dame during the USC game.
Yeah. Nope. And you know what's going to happen here, man? I have a feeling that Ohio State, it's going to be a big weekend for visitors, and it should be a perfect environment for it. Like a Notre Dame home game couldn't possibly offer anything else better than what that should be. All the way down to good weather. Like you're in September, it'll still be warm. You don't have to have that battle. And all the energy and everything to build up. That's going to be a huge weekend, but there's always risk in that. If you're going to have a big visitation list with your high-end targets for your biggest home game, you got to deliver and you got to play good, have your crowd in it, and show that guy what it could be like here. It's going to be a huge weekend. Because so big.
I think he started looking different when, like when the kid from Katy, Texas, Thomas. I think he started seeing things different because you didn't see no Notre Dame players except for like two. No Notre Dame commits except for two. They were like, man, we need you here, Justin Scott. We need you at Notre Dame. And once Logan Thomas committed, he said, man, my first priority is to get Justin Scott to come in.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to be, I don't know, man, but you know what? I trust Marcus. I know that he knows what needs to happen. And I just have faith in that. He's trying to get things done over there. And he knows what the score is. Marcus knows what's up.
I trust Marcus. John, I don't trust the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And I don't trust the defensive line coach.
Now, are you talking practically as far as on the field or recruiting off the field or
I'm
both?
Talking about as far as recruiting wise.
Yeah.
Because it's okay, I understand Al Washington has visited Justin Scott, and he made it his priority, but why is the defensive coordinator is not going to visit Justin Scott? Not going to sit down, not going to his school, not going to his game. You got to be on top of that. That should have been your first priority since December. It should have been your first priority. You should have been at every single basketball game. Notre Dame is like practically like an hour and a half from Chicago. You should have been at every single game. You should have been at the state championship series. You should have been everywhere. If Justin Scott went to the bathroom, you should have been holding his hand and taking him there.
Yeah. And again, that's where I think you got to hope Freeman picks up the slack and Freeman can identify where his input is more needed and do that. But a bigger picture question is, both Owls are on the clock to me. I need to see better recruiting and tighten up the defense from both those groups. It's a big year for the Owls at Notre Dame, man. I'm looking at both of them.
Not only do I think they need Justin Scott, they got to get that kid out of Arizona as well. You got to get these. See, you're making it a priority. They're making it a priority to have all these edge rushers. But what you going to do about the interior? Okay, I understand they got the kid from Florida. I have never seen that kid play, but I'm guessing he's pretty good or whatever. They made it a priority to go get him, but you make it a priority to go get a 3-star, but not a priority to go get a 5-star that's right in your backyard.
Yeah.
Also now, Al Golden, man, you got to tighten up on your recruiting, man. First of all, Notre Dame should never lose a 4 or 5-star out of Chicago.
Yep, the times have changed, man. The times are changed, man. That was my old school Chicago Catholic League I grew up in. And in Lou's day, the top guys wanted to go to Notre Dame. You came over to their games on a Friday night, but they all wanted to go to Notre Dame. And you could have a feeder. You could just know you could pull the best lineman and whatever out of this Catholic League. And they all have the grades, good academics, and they are Notre Dame-minded guys. The times have changed, man. A lot of those guys don't even want to stay in cold weather. A lot of them want to get out of the cold weather now, man. Make your NIL, go down south, and we'll visit mom around the holidays. Come back to Chicago.
And kids, and I've seen Justin Scott say, like, man, priority, it's the relationship with the coaches is his first priority. And I know that people want to say, okay, Keon Keeley left for NIL. I don't think Keeley left for NIL, man. I think the reason why Keeley left because of, first of all, when Keeley committed, he committed to Brian Kelly's staff. And Brian Kelly's staff made it they identified him before he became his 5-star, but they made it their priority to keep keeping in touch with it. And then here comes the Avs. The Avs made no progress. So they opened up the door for Alabama or anybody else, or Georgia, anybody else that wanted Keon Keeley to say, hey man, they ain't even making you a priority. Now, the Bowen situation, the quarterback from up in Michigan, them kids, they was NIL from day one. They wanted their attention. They never stopped going on. They never stopped going on visits. And I understand that Bowen's got a younger brother that was going on these visits. But you can be like, hey man, I'm Notre Dame through and through. You do what you want to do. I'll go on the visits with you, but I am not even talking to these coaches.
You know what's interesting about that is I have heard rumblings of Bowen maybe not being necessarily already happy with where he landed already. Some issues with the girlfriend. I'm hearing we are not even into camp yet. And I have heard rumblings that there are some uncomfortable issues with him where he's at right now. So it is what it is. People make their decisions and you got to deal with it, man. But I've heard he's already having some questions about where he ended up. So sometimes you should just stick with Notre Dame and live it out.
Yeah, and I heard that before he even committed or signed with Oklahoma, he begged Marcus, could he come to Notre Dame? And he said it was up to the guys, and the guys said no.
Yeah, and if they did, I get that. Then it's like you didn't want to be with us, and then you're out. It's tough, man. Anything else on your mind? I appreciate the call. Thanks for checking in.
Yeah, man, these Notre Dame, these Notre Dame people, man, y'all got to be patient, man, because of this recruiting thing is rough, man. It could be kids could be like, hey, I'm going to Notre Dame today.
You want me to be patient? We haven't won a title since I was 4 or a major bowl game since I could walk. How much more patience do you need from me, buddy? How much more patience do you need?
It's coming, John.
I'm going to be in a wheelchair at the senior home, and we're finally going to win a bowl game, and I'm just going to croak. I'm not even going to be able to do the show at this rate.
Hey, I'm gonna predict something, John.
All right.
Notre Dame will be in the playoffs, and they will win a playoff game this year.
Look at you putting yourself out there. Ooh, buddy, man. I like that. I like that. All right, man. Hey, thanks. Go ahead.
Take this. It might be USC and Notre Dame in a national championship game.
Wow. Look at that. A little rematch action. That is a wild map you just drew. Hey, thanks for the call on a Monday morning, man. You have a good week. I'll be live Wednesday. Call again then if you want.
All right, man.
Beautiful. Thanks a lot for the call, man. Always appreciate it. Have a good one. He always calls in, man, and full of thoughts. Oh, let's get back to a couple chats. Chief says, the NIL stuff will eventually get sorted out. Indy does not need to abandon their values. All right, I got to address both parts of this. One is the first sentence. The NIL stuff will eventually get sorted out. There's two different parts to that. One is we just went over at Notre Dame that they're trying to do more, get more involved, build a bigger network of Notre Dame NIL power players that can hook our guys up with opportunities and all that. That is going on. Brady Quinn, blah, blah, blah. Marcus is good at it, knows what we need, all that stuff. The second thing is I already believe that the NIL landscape's changing a little bit. I believe, remember like the Texas A&M thing of like NIL's legal and then they just did pay for play and got like five-star D linemen in that class, all with pay for play bags, right? Remember that? And it bombed. and it didn't work. Guys weren't happy. They weren't winning on the field. They weren't happy with playing time. It's a bunch of egos. Me, you. What are you getting? What am I getting? Who's paying? Where's the money? I believe some of that really wild pay for play is already getting reined in, because I think some of those donors ponying that money are already seeing we're not getting the return that we thought. This is not going the way we thought it was going to go. Instant results. We're having problems. Guys don't want to stay here. They're not going to play here. What do we do with the money? Like, what am I getting? And then on the player end, there are players that have had issues getting the money they were promised and all this stuff and all these promises. And the other thing you need to realize is a lot of these NIL deals, even if it's like $2 million, it isn't just you get $2 million. A lot of those deals have a lot of things in them. Things you got to do on the field and off the field. You got to be, All-American or whatever, and you got to have this many tackles. A lot of that is contingent on hitting certain things. That's getting reined back in. A lot of that real wild stuff's getting reined back in. People are getting burned by it, and they're not as willing to go down that path. Secondly, on the ND does not need to abandon their values part. No one's asked them to. No one's asked them to. And NIL, as far as Notre Dame goes with NIL, that's totally legal. That's not sacrificing their values at all. NIL is not pay for play. Those are different things. I want Notre Dame to go wild with NIL and to maximize their alumni network and all the power players and all these businesses and industries. That helps everybody. That helps everybody. Create awareness, create potential jobs, help those businesses at Notre Dame people grow, connect, help the program, all of that. No one wants Notre Dame to sacrifice their values. If they do, they're no longer Notre Dame, and I don't care. If Notre Dame sacrificed their values, it does pay for play. I'm not a Notre Dame guy anymore. The whole mission with Notre Dame and why it's different or supposed to be different is that we want to do it the right way. Try and win the right way, above board. Have guys that can read and write, whatever. So you could do a ton of NIL, and I'm not going to say we abandon our values. Don't do pay for play. Any legitimate NIL opportunity is fair. Nobody wants us to sacrifice those values. Do NIL fair and do it big with a lot of good opportunities and good money, and top guys want to be here for it. That ain't a dirty little word. There's nothing wrong with that anymore. We got to get over the idea that if you do NIL, it means Notre Dame's giving up its values. I don't see it that way at all. Just don't do pay for play. So I don't know. It's a wild new world out there. It really is. Really is. Look at Pat going to bat for me early in the morning here. If you're watching, I assume you like John and his show. Maybe not. Maybe some people watch just to get mad at me. I don't know. If that's the case, hit the thumbs up. It's amazing what it does do, you guys. YouTube will see that. Every thumbs up you get, that system says, somebody likes what this idiot's saying. Let's shoot it out to more people to find the show. That's how it helps. But I want to make sure you know, it isn't just for my self-esteem that every single person who comes here thumbs up to approve what I'm doing. It ain't about that. It's about the algorithm. When they see you give a thumbs up, they shoot the program to other football fans to put it in front of them that don't already know of us. That's how it works. So that's why I appreciate that. It just sends a signal to put this show in front of more people. Hopefully they subscribe and then they come here every day. Freeman Factor 574. Overall, more 4 and 5 stars turn into elite prospects for sure. But I won't be mad if they could spot the Ben Morrisons consistently. Right. That's why I need both. But it's not one or the other. That's why you need both. You need the 4 and 5 star guys that are historically, by the data, going to give you a better hit rate in terms of on-field in college and then getting into the league. So you need that. because those are lower risk, right? That's the idea. And then if you could spot those Morrisons, then you got it made, because you're landing up the 4 or 5 star guys. You know we're going to do something for you. And then you hit on a Morrison too. Instead of 4 5 star guys, you got 5 then. So you need both. It's just, it can't be all one. You need both. Some of those high percentage, high end guys, and then the Morrisons. It just can't be the Morrisons. That's leaving way too much to chance. You can't do that. You need both. Chief says, yes, that argument is a fallacy, using specific anecdotal examples to determine the rule. However, the data shows that in the aggregate, higher rated players hit more often at a higher level. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Look at recruiting. Look at the entire recruiting industry and what it's become right now. Okay. Think about it. What does it indicate to you when a guy's a 5-star guy? All right. Like when you see on every service, On3, Rivals, ESPN, whatever, Scout, whatever it is, and you see a guy's a 5-star guy. What that tells me is, if a guy's a consensus 5-star, I don't say, this is a big differentiator. I want to know if you guys think of it this way too. When I see a consensus 5-star talent, I don't think, wow, this guarantees that the guy is going to be an elite 5-star player in college, an IN draft pick, and he's going to be good right away, plug and play in college, 5-star guy. I don't look at it as a guarantee that that guy's going to be elite in college or the pros. Here's what I do look at it as. It's all about risk. It's all about risk. It's all about the odds and percentages. If all the industry's looking at these guys for a living, think a guy's a 5-star guy, him busting on you is a lot less of a risk than a 3-star guy that doesn't have a lot of offers and his body's not a Power 5 body yet and all that. Like, it's all about risk and the odds that a guy's going to help you or not, or how much. And the higher rated the recruit by more industries, the less I think the risk is that that player's not going to contribute for you. That's what it's all about. It's about those levels of comfort and risk of what the development should and could be. So I don't know. Fifth wheel, unpopular opinion. Freeman might be signing more 3-stars this cycle, but the one thing you can't question is speed, overall athleticism of those guys. That is accurate. They are making a play, especially on defense, for speed and length. And so that is something Freeman's targeted and that these guys are hitting on. Speed and length are a big deal, and athleticism. I agree with that. I do. Adam, I got you in a minute. Going to be the last call of the day. Chief, it's not a fallacy. I'm not denying that 4 and 5 stars are more consistently elite. I'm simply stating that some coaches are better at identifying talent in lower rankings, and Freeman's one of them. Again, I totally agree with that, but I need both. I need you to have the guys that are lower risk, higher rated, and then you identify and cultivate 3 or 4 more Morrisons. That's what you need. You need them both. You just do. Yep, Mark with glasses is the one who made the great video that is circulating Twitter right now. Mark, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Oh, man. Would make for a good alternative intro. That's another good idea, too. Oh, man, that's so funny. Cotter's one of the hardest people to offend. Yeah, you really do have to offend Cotter. Pat was on Twitter and then he got off. I think he had too many run-ins with people about different things. Oh, man. He said, look at this, Pat. I'm already acting like BK. I'm skipping work to play golf. That is unbelievable. That's perfect, Pat. Oh my God. What a perfect comment for Pat to make coming off of what we did Saturday night. That is so perfect. I'm already acting like BK. I'm skipping work to play golf. That's beautiful. That says it all. Oh, that's funny stuff. That is good stuff. All right, Adam, what you got? What's going on, buddy?
Oh man,
What?
I need to leave work. I need to leave work and go golf like BK. That sounds like a good idea, Pat.
Yeah, no, Pat's got it all figured out, man. Yeah, he's on the BK path, doing his recruiting from the golf course, baby. Hey, how was your camping trip? I didn't expect you to have a family of 80 people in the woods. Jeezy Pete's.
Oh yeah. Well, it was camping. You know how. Besides it being 100 degrees, it was great.
Yeah, dude, I just was surprised to see the picture and how big of a family you guys have. Adam, what do you make of any of this we've talked about today? Any of the recruiting? Are we making too big of a deal about certain things all in our own heads over the summer here? What should we be thinking about?
Hey, first of all, I want to say, hey, congrats on getting together with Mitch and coming to Crown Point and doing all that stuff at Hartman signing. It should be good.
Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, I want to get more involved with that, and I think we'll have a good group over there and support our guys. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how that all came together, but it'll be a good thing. It's a good little location and everything there in Crown Point.
Yep. And so I don't know, Adam, what do you make of this recruiting class? We got some good.
It makes you.
We got some good crystal balls. We got good crystal balls for 4-star guys after the visits over the weekend. I don't know, sitting in number 3, but people don't love it. People don't love it. So where are we? What is the reality of this, Adam? What's the reality of where it's at? In your opinion,
I was guilty. I was guilty as well. I think of being over dramatic on it. Like, oh my gosh, we're getting all these 3-stars. But I think maybe it's because the 3-stars kind of came all in a row that made it seem worse.
Yeah. Because then that makes it feel like it's a trend and it's building. And then that's what you're going to be stuck in once you start doing that is the fear, I think.
But we'd be lying. I mean, you are a little bit concerned because Freeman was supposed to uptick the recruiting. But on the flip side, if Carr and Williams still end up being 5-stars, and we have a bunch, say 2 5-stars, 18 4-stars or 15 4-stars and some 3s, then it doesn't all look so bad at the end.
Yeah. And it's just all about balance. If you're going to do some of the project RKG and a few years developmental guys, I'm okay with that. But as long as you balance it out with lower risk guys that I know are going to play for us soon on the other end. And then you have 4-star guys in the middle as the bulk of the class. That would be acceptable.
Yeah, and I think I'm just in a place where I'm going to give Marcus the benefit of the doubt till I can't. Till it proves it's not better.
Yeah.
So, I believe in what Marcus is trying to do here.
Yeah. And
just getting 2 5-stars is,
you know what, Adam?
Just having 2.
We haven't really seen any development yet either. I want to see these guys develop and what this staff could do with these guys. Maybe there's a different arc there than Kelly had as far as development once they get in here. But I can assure you effort and messaging is not the issue. Effort and messaging is not the issue with Freeman.
No, it's year 1. Your quarterback went down. I mean, if you honestly think about it, LSU lost as many games as Notre Dame. LSU all of a sudden is a national championship favorite, and their fans love them.
Along with Michigan.
Like, oh, man,
right?
they had a terrible year.
Adam, who's the other one that's getting that heat? It's LSU and Michigan, and it's hate it and hate it. Both of them. Double hate it. I hate it. But they are both, like you told me, they're both running their mouths like they already won the title. They're acting like they're both already in the playoff. Both those fan groups are acting like they're in the playoff now. Already.
Yeah, BK lost 4 games and he had like 3 different games where he had to come back and pull a game out of his ass. So let's pump the brakes on LSU. Let's pump the brakes on Florida State, Penn State. It's like that's definitely summertime talk, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. And then were you on when we were talking about all the worries we have as Notre Dame fans? It made me think of you. You'll text me out of the blue, worried about this or what about that? I'm thinking about this and it's making me mad. Is it all overdone because we're Notre Dame and we're under that microscope and everything we do is in the national media and maybe I'm a part of the problem magnifying things here, but it's kind of what I'm supposed to do. Like, what's the reality? Is everything as dramatic as we make it in Notre Dame land, or are we overdoing it?
Yeah, we probably overdo it just because we have such a passion for Notre Dame. So we probably overdo it a little bit. We're in the middle of a big transition. Like, Mark is coming in, and he's got his own vision of the type of players he wants, types of coaches he wants. He's a first-time head coach. So there's a lot of transition. I think everyone needs to be patient. We need to give this whole program time. I think when these incoming freshmen are juniors, then we'll have a really good idea what it's going to look like.
Yeah, because then you'll have the recruiting a few years going, and then you'll also have some development. It'll be Kelly's guys mostly are all out, or a bunch of them, and then you'll get.
I mean, John, just think about how much better Marcus got as a head coach when you watch him coach the game from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. I think he made huge jumps on how he was handling 4th downs and things like that.
Yeah, and just being more comfortable. Just being more comfortable. You know what I asked earlier, Adam? I wonder how much Notre Dame could improve based on Freeman having a better feel of where he needs to put his attention and time this year. Year 1, you don't really know. It's the first time as a head guy. You do what you got to do based off, gut instinct. Now I wonder if he's able to better dictate his time and effort and resources in recruiting or helping coach the defense. Like, I'm wondering if that'll help us, if he has a better idea where he needs to focus his time this year.
Yeah, 100%. He knows where his failures were last year. He knows where he failed and where things didn't work. And this year he's going to try to improve that. And he's probably going to do that for a few years. So we just need to give this a little bit of time. How the season goes. It's a very, very tough schedule. I don't care what ESPN says. They had us at like 19 and Michigan 21.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like,
yeah. Shut the company down.
That's insane.
No, shut the company down. Close ESPN just for that. No, shut it down. Like, you lost your credibility. You lost your credibility. Shut it down. ESPN, done.
How are you going to go after Notre Dame for their schedule every year? And half of your playoff show is basically saying Notre Dame just disqualified, basically, because they only play 12 games. But then you're perfectly okay with the SEC scratching and crawling and fighting to only play 8 conference games.
Yeah.
You have 16 teams, 8 conference games.
Yeah, and there were a handful of teams that did vote for 9, right? There was
It was 5 teams.
Yeah.
5 out of 16.
And I believe Kelly was on that list as wanting 9. Was he not? I'm pretty sure LSU was on there as wanting 9.
Yeah, I think I saw it was LSU, Georgia, I think Texas A&M, Missouri, and I forget who else. But Alabama was definitely not on the 9 side.
Yeah.
So what's the point of playing in a conference if you don't play each other? That's what I don't get with the whole conference.
You know what they're doing.
Georgia,
dude, you know what they're doing. They want as many at-large teams in the 12-team playoff field as they can get. And they know that if you make them do 9 conference games, more teams are going to have more losses in their conference. That's what dictated the whole thing. That's what this is all about.
And John, and that's what they do with the 4 team too, because they love having, when they show up to their SEC championship game, them crying how hard the SEC is and that 2 teams should get in, even if one loses today in the championship game. That's how they set that up too. Alabama and Georgia have only played like one time in the last 9 years or 8 years, and they're in the same conference in the regular season.
Yeah. It's, and
I mean,
I don't know, man. It's all about jockeying for leverage for that new playoff. That's what this is all about. And it rubs me the wrong way, but it is what it is. So as far as we go, we just have to take care of our business to get in it almost every year. I want to be in it every year. Go 10-2. You should be in it every year, I think.
Yeah. Moving forward, it doesn't really matter, but I just think it's funny that people can beat up our schedule when they manipulate their schedules all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And they do that, and then they insist to you that they play the toughest schedule in the world out of the other end of their mouth. Yeah, it makes no sense. So I don't know, Adam. Leading, like, here's where I'm at. We're right here. And when we get past 4th of July, you start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, kind of the season coming. Between now and then, I don't want anything but good recruiting news. That's all I want to hear out of Notre Dame is some of these guys commit. I don't want to hear anything bad. I don't want any water skiing accidents. I don't want any running from the police at an underage drinking party. I don't want no bad news, good recruiting news. That's it. That's all I want to hear.
You better just lock Sam Hartman up till the last week of August.
Yep, that's what I want, man. Anything else on your mind?
No, that's pretty much it. I really just wanted to call and, say congrats about hooking up with Mitch, and we should have a good event. Obviously, I just live right down the street, so I can walk there. But so we'll help you get everything set up, and we'll be there.
That's beautiful, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to start having to hang around your hometown. I told you, hey, we got some plans for away game watch parties. Like, there is a possibility for away game watch parties at one of those nice bars. I'm not going to mention the name and put anything out there there's nothing official. There are some possibilities here. We could have some fun. All right.
Oh yeah, definitely. Sounds good.
Beautiful, man. Hey, thanks for the call. Have a good work week. Call me Wednesday. I'm sure I'll talk to you later tonight about something that makes us mad.
Yeah. All right,
later, Adam. See ya.
Well,
oh, Pat, I know what you're doing with that, and that is hilarious. Little kid. I know what you're doing. Me and Pat used to have a math professor, little tiny Indian guy, like a 4 foot tall, skinny Indian guy. He looked like a mummy. And he would call everybody a little kid. He'd just go, you little kid. Don't drink, you little kid. You got the question wrong, you little kid. I don't know why he's calling me that now, but it's in my mind. Sharky61. Hey, John, you should see if you should get Marcus on the show. I feel like he's above me. Like, that would be obviously the home run of home runs of this program is getting him to come on. And it does make sense as far as independent fan shows, not sponsored by a huge media entity, Sports Illustrated, one of the recruiting totally independent fan show. This is the one. It would make sense for Marcus to want to join and do this. It's so that he could get the word out with the fan show and all that. But I believe Marcus is too busy and he has a lot higher level media obligations than me bugging him. I think that for sure. Chief says, I think you would probably need a press pass to get Freeman on. That's the other thing. Freeman can't just go, oh, this guy's funny, I'm going to join him for 5 minutes. There's a process there for the Notre Dame coach to talk to somebody, and you got to get that cleared. And what are you talking about, and what are we doing? Nothing's as easy as it seems like it should be. Nothing at all. What else did I have? It's something else here. What was it? I forgot what it was. How about Brian Kelly on the show? It'd be amazing. It would be absolutely fantastic. But I know that he hates me, so that's never going to happen. But I know for a fact he doesn't like me. Probably because I was calling him out on all the stuff he wasn't doing here. So that's never going to happen. The guy doesn't like me, and he had his burner account lackey Whoever the lackey is that was working Kelly's burner account was coming at me on Twitter last year. So that's how much I got under his skin. And I know it isn't him. It's his lackey on his burner account that was coming at me. And I know it is because he forgot to log out once and was coming at me thinking it was the burner account, but it was on Kelly's real account. They did the old trick where they forgot to log out. But I like knowing I'm in that guy's head and he knows who I am and he doesn't like me. Good. And that's how we're going to end the show. How about that for an ending? That is just about perfect. No better way to end than that, okay? All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. This was a very, very lively, for a Monday in June, this was lively. We held over 100 viewers for most of the show. And in a random June Monday, I think that's a pretty solid number. Good donations, good chats, good calls. The momentum of this show is building. Yeah, guys, for the tailgate, for the autograph signing, we can't do alcohol. I want to make that clear. This is more of like a family friendly. We're going to have like popsicles and like Capri Suns and like water and pop and some snacks. It can't turn into that kind of party where we have the drinks going. We're keeping this family friendly. The other thing is, this is going to be in the parking lot of the business, and we have insurance concerns about safety and all that. So it's not a place where we're going to be able to drink and do all that. So it's going to be more family friendly, pop and freezy pops, that for the kids, that kind of thing. But as far as bags, games, and all that, we're going to have all that going. But we're going to stay away from the drinking. But you know what we could do is after the event, we could go do that at one of these bars right nearby. If there's a bunch of people, that might be something we could do. I know there's bars right there. We might be able to do that if people want to. Go over a block. We could do that after the event. That'd be beautiful. But all right, folks, that's going to be it. I will post a short video tonight. And then I got something planned for tomorrow that's probably going to make you mad. And then we'll be back Wednesday. Love this show. Love the momentum. It is growing. And when we get in this season, I'm hoping we get a big boom of more people that get back into football mode and we really take off. The post-game call-in shows here, I think that's going to be where we're going to hit the most people. So let's do it, all right? Thanks to everybody for being here. Terrific Monday. Beautiful, fat Monday show. I loved it. And Pat, thanks for all you're doing with the help and doing all that. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, everybody.